I forgot to pull my my mic out in front of me. Is that better? Oh, it feels like a Monday today. I'm not sure why. Okay, hopefully I can turn my head a little bit now without it causing a problem. All right, thank you. Okay, I'm new at this live streaming stuff, so we'll get this all sorted, and in another month I might actually look professional. Okay, so here are some of the strategies that I use to deal with stress. There's aromatherapy. Um, Jasmine is a pretty good drop that you can use in your air purifier thing, or your vaporizer, I guess it's called. Um, I've got actually like a little tube thing. It looks like a old big tube of lipstick, and you can load that up. It puts it out in the room. It's pretty good. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is cutting off the edge of your message here. See if I can fix that. Give me a second, I'll fix that while I'm thinking of it. Okay. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you for the comment, Arlene. Yeah, well, carnivore is a way of eating that seems to work really, really well for healing chronic disease. You probably missed my last stream where I was talking about it. So I've got 8 autoimmune diseases, and they're all pretty serious. Well, 3 of them are like more minor skin conditions, but there's 5 pretty major ones, and they've all gone into remission. And I've lost a total of 215 pounds, although about half of that was on carnivore, and before that was keto. So carnivore, basically, you're eliminating all the possible foods that can cause issues in your body, cause inflammation and chronic pain and trigger other diseases and allergic reactions and stuff. So we just eliminate it all. And the body, just contrary to what we've been taught by medical professionals for the last 60, 70 years, we actually need meat and fat. Our brains, for instance, are like 85% cholesterol. So our body really needs cholesterol. And if you're not eating processed foods and seed oils and that kind of thing and sugar that can damage your cholesterol, then your cholesterol is structured the way it should be, and it protects your body from getting built up in your arteries, and it allows your mitochondria to heal your cells, because that's what mitochondria feeds on, is cholesterol. And but we just eliminate anything that could possibly harm us. So I don't take vitamins or medications or anything like that. Now, to be fair, there are some supplements I take because I need electrolytes, lots of salt. So I eat a lot of salt, and of course meat and fat, water. I use from time to time I'll use a little bit of pepper. I can tolerate that, and I put a tiny little bit of lemon juice in my water. I also use iodine, NaC, selenium, and ginger powder for my thyroid. So I tend to take a natural approach for everything as much as I can, and it seems to be working out pretty good for me. And I've had a lot of help, a lot of good advice from some good people. Um, they've helped me do this, and the changes that I've gone through are just amazing. Like within the first 2 weeks, my osteoarthritis pain that comes with it and the swelling went away. myasthenia gravis, which is my most serious disease. It went away in about another week or two after that. I had been carnivore 1 month when my neurologist looked at my blood work and took me off the last of my autoimmune medications. So, now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everybody should be carnivore, but I will say that anybody could eat carnivore and be very healthy doing it. But if you're trying to lose a lot of weight or you're having a lot of health issues, uh, carnivore could be the answer you've been looking for. Everything else has failed. Carnivore seems to work. There are literally hundreds of thousands of us that are being healed of all these different types of chronic diseases. Type 2 diabetes responds extremely well. There's about a 90% complete recovery rate as long as they stay on the diet. So it's not a cure. It'll put you into remission. And there's, type 2 diabetics, they can get off their insulin and not have to worry about it as long as they're not eating the sugar and processed foods and that kind of thing. Even type 1 diabetics, they can get a pretty significant reduction in the amount of insulin that they require, and it really levels them out. Yay. So I watched you on live yesterday after the live was on. Did low carb to beat diabetes and arthritis, got 80% better. Start weight loss and lost 70 pounds in 2 months. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, the reason that I started carnivore was, my weight loss on keto had stalled. And within a couple of days of starting carnivore, my weight loss restarted. So now I will say, the last couple of months, I'm just kind of hovering, but I've been eating a lot more because my body needs to heal. Oh, well, I take iodine because of my thyroid, but um, not every, like you say, some people have an issue with thyroid or with iodine. Now you could try, I don't know if you've tried it, but you could try a formula called Lugol's. It was designed specifically for treating thyroid. Some people can tolerate that when they can't tolerate just regular potassium iodide. There's also a possibility you could maybe use natural sources like kelp. Kelp has a lot of it in it, but if you can't, you can't. But NAC is very helpful. Selenium is helpful. And if you can tolerate nightshade plants, ashwagandha is actually the best thing in existence that I'm aware of to naturally treat your thyroid. So if you can't do iodine in any form, ashwagandha might be a good option for you, as well as the NAC and selenium. So, now, of course, we know the electrolytes that I take. I used to buy the Keto Chow, but I make my own now because now I can add a little boron, which has some other health benefits and helps you absorb the other minerals and nutrients that you're eating. I went carny to jumpstart a keto stall too. Yes, join the club. There's a lot of us that went through the same thing. Some of the other people that have gotten a lot of benefits from carnivore are, cancer patients. There's been a lot of people that were terminally diagnosed, no hope of getting better, and they went on a protocol of a 21-day water fast and then went carnivore, and a very high percentage of them were completely cured or went into complete remission. I got to stop using the word cured. So if we get back to our stress management, so the aromatherapy is a fairly good option that works reasonably well. And oh yeah, you think you are. Sorry, you're welcome, Arlene. Now I also use some different meditations, and I've tried some different chanting techniques. And there's binaural audio. There's also more traditional meditation. The binaural audio that puts in two different frequencies, one in each ear, so you have to use it with headphones. And different frequencies can help to heal different things in the body, including emotional stress and anxiety and depression and things like that. So you just put it on and go to sleep, leave it on really low. And there's tons of them out there. If you guys are interested, leave a comment and I can give you guys some sources for that. I've also developed some of my own meditations based on combinations of other things, types of self-hypnosis and stuff. Can all be used to help stress. Unfortunately, with the situation I had after the move, I was having a real hard time concentrating enough to be able to do it. I was just in a lot of pain, kind of re-injured my back during, but that's that it happens. But we do the best we can. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that since I started Carnivore, everything's been perfect. It hasn't. Certainly, I've had my bad days, but everything seems to be, progressing. Even if it slows down sometimes. And one of the things that can really give a person stress is if they're looking at the weigh scale all the time and obsessing over it. It can be a real issue. Oh, my chat stopped scrolling there for a second. Okay. Ah, well, yeah, I'm glad to see my daughter popped in. So I'm having a really hard time going off surgery stuff. Most of my weight is in my legs and back. My feet are suffering too. I have heel spurs and calcification. It's hard to be on my feet all day at work, but the inserts I have are mildly helping. Yeah, and these are all things that can be mitigated or even reversed with the carnivore diet. I know for a lot of people it's a radical step, giving up all the sugar, all the processed foods, the flour, vegetables, the oils, all that kind of stuff. You're just eating meat and lots of fat. You can have butter, eggs, bacon, stuff like that. Pretty much any kind of meat. I find personally I do better on beef, but I've done some experimenting, but I still eat pork from time to time. Salmon's pretty good. So I'm pretty confident that if you were to give it a try and actually stick with it for 30 days, you'll notice a difference. If it doesn't work for you, if you're not noticing a difference after 30 days, you haven't lost anything. Give it a try. I mean, you remember what I looked like when I came down for the wedding. I mean, I was a whole person heavier. And that's another one of the benefits. I mean, I think when I came down to the wedding, well, before the wedding, I was 480, and then I think I was at 465 at the wedding, and now I'm at like 325. So yeah, there some pretty significant changes, and no more using the cane, no more wheelchair. I took the wheelchair back. We left the wheelchair apartment. That's why we moved. Um, Wanted to give it up to somebody who actually needed it. So it's been absolutely amazing. So, uh, just a quick little introduction to everybody. So, Katerina Natastad, that's my daughter. We found each other a couple 3 years ago after a long search, and been wonderful having her in my life. And I became an instant grandfather, so pretty excited about that. Hey, I'm starting a bit small, having yogurt and fruit, some honey and granola. Well, it's not a big issue to do that, especially when you're first starting out. Um, when I went carnivore, I jumped in with both feet, and it was brutal. I got the what they call the keto flu or the carnivore flu. I was pretty sick for 3 or 4 weeks, suffering from getting off the sugar and oxalate dumping and all these toxins leaving my body and withdrawals from the sugar. A lot of people don't realize that sugar actually affects the same addiction center of the brain as cocaine and morphine. And fructose actually has more of an effect. And that's why it gets put in so many things. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. And so Arlene says, never thought I could do this. But then I prayed again I prayed again every day in a month. I began. Uh, Hopefully she tries it. Like a whole new life. I'm 66. Well, this is a good comment. I can't do just meat. I would get sick of it. And I kind of thought the same thing. But the one thing that I've discovered is that when your body needs something, when it's good for you, when it's going to heal you, you crave it. And I haven't had any issues of not wanting to eat meat since I started this. It just tastes so good. When it stops tasting good, it means I'm full. It means I should stop eating. Um, I've heard this from a lot of people that before they start, they think the same thing, that they're not going to be able to tolerate the meat. And to be fair, some of them it takes a while. And this is why I suggest to people, don't dive in like I did. Transition slowly. Start, over a period of 1 to 2 months, depending on who you are. If you've had your gallbladder removed, do it slowly over 3 months, and just slowly start easing off of the other foods and ease up your consumption of meat and fat. If you have trouble eating the fatty meat, or you put a bunch of butter in your eggs or something and it's making you nauseous, the trick that I used until I got used to it is I just let it cool down to room temperature, and then I was able to eat it. And then slowly over about a week and a half, I had it a little warmer and a little warmer each time. And after that, it was fine. I ate it hot right as soon as it came off the stove. Yeah, I mean the withdrawals can be really brutal. I mean, I had a migraine strength headache for about 3 weeks after I quit sugar. But I was getting so many benefits so fast from the diet. I had all the incentive in the world to suffer through it, and when I came out the other side, I felt amazing. So I still can't get over the fact how quickly my myasthenia gravis just went away. I mean, I was bedridden with that for over 10 years, and then a few more years trying to regain enough strength to be able to even walk anywhere. So it's been an absolute miracle for me, but it certainly hasn't been easy. It's a simple diet, but it's not easy for a lot of people. So Rhonda says I'm 74, started keto 1.5 years ago now. Now ketovore and doing even better. Nice. I just love to hear stories like this. Uh, Dad was a butcher. I grew up on lots of good meat. All right. Yeah, I grew up on a farm, so we always butchered our own meat. And this is one of the things I'm going to be talking about later as one of the methods we can use to save money by, buying an entire animal and either keeping it for yourself or splitting it with some people and butchering it up yourself. So Kat says I'm trying doing healthier options, need better options for for pasta and potatoes. We just can't afford to do all meat. Well, this is something that I was going to be talking about on this stream is the affordability factor. Now, I know when I started Carnivore, my wife was very concerned. That was her immediate thought, was that we can't afford this. But what we've actually discovered, as long as we're not going out and buying ribeyes and, New York strips and stuff all the time, we look for the sales. We eat a lot of ground beef and cheaper cuts. I got a sous vide machine used off of Facebook, so I'll take like a bad cut of meat, or like a tough cut of meat. I shouldn't say bad, but I'll take a tough cut of meat and I'll sous vide it. And most of the time, except for 1 or 2 cuts, it comes out amazing with sous vide. Some cuts you have to do them low and slow in a more traditional oven top method. Like I just cooked a brisket a couple of days ago, and that's like the initial cook is about 8 or 9 hours, and then it's an 18-hour hot hold. But it comes out literally melt in your mouth tender. You can cut it with a fork. So, I mean, the whole point of all this is there are ways that you can save money. And when you're on carnivore, if the whole family is carnivore, you're not buying anything else. You're not buying condiments. You're not buying sauces. You're not buying all these other foods. All you're having to buy is like meat and butter and salt and maybe some ingredients to make your electrolytes. And that's really about it. So what we discovered is we actually spend about 20% less on groceries now than we did when we were eating the standard American diet. Yes, it's amazing that people are surviving myasthenia gravis now. My boss from about 50 years ago died from it. You're awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty sick. By the time I was diagnosed, like I was officially re-diagnosed in 2012. I had it when I was 13, and then a naturopathic doctor, put me into remission. Lasted almost 30 years, but that came back. So when I was re-diagnosed and went into the hospital, I couldn't swallow solid food. I could barely breathe. I couldn't talk. I couldn't stand unassisted. Definitely couldn't walk. And I was just a matter of weeks away from death. So pretty bad. But I will say that the treatments they gave me when I got to the hospital were pretty amazing. They did something called plasmapheresis. So basically, it's a big machine that's they took the blood out of my neck. They had a tube that went down to my heart. So they took the blood out, separated the plasma, replaced it with artificial plasma, pumped it back into my heart, and basically replaced my entire blood volume like that with 5 different treatments. So I had basically 5 oil changes. But I mean, it was a miracle. I mean, at the end of that, I was walking and talking and eating and breathing, and it was great. Only it didn't last very long. So, and then they got me on the heavy medications, and I was in bad shape. So Rhonda said, "Thanks, Arlene." Just had to mention that. Kat says, "I'm glad you were able to reach out. You probably didn't think you would ever be at my wedding or have grandkids." Yeah, I mean, I held out the hope that I would find you one day, and I spent a lot of years doing it. But yeah, but it's probably just as well I didn't find you when I was bedridden, because that wouldn't have been much of a reunion. So, Arlene says, "I need a sous vide." Yeah, they're absolutely wonderful. I think I wound up getting mine used off of Facebook for, I think I paid like 50 or $60, and it's got its quirks, but it's been wonderful. Uh, well, the fat in the meat I fry up, and it's so good, and butter, it makes me happy. Makes me feel good because I had lots of stress from my own thinking. Yeah, one of my favorite snacks is taking some strips of fat and throwing them in the air fryer and turning them into crackling. Oh, that's good. So Lisa Brooks says, or Lisa Brooks Reed, that's my wife, by the way. That's Mrs. Fuzzy D. She says zucchini and cauliflower is a good replacement for pasta and potatoes, and they're both versatile in how you prepare them. I loved using them. Yeah, if you're trying to transition and getting into healthier foods as you transition to carnivore, yeah, the zucchini and cauliflower is a pretty good option. I enjoyed it myself before I went carnivore. So glad you're here. Thank you for blessing us with this. Well, I'm not sure if you're thanking me or thanking my daughter or my wife. And Kat says, yes, she loves the rice cauliflower too. Yeah, my wife says, I too have a very hard time getting off sugar. I've done it before, went through craving withdrawals, but I did have a product called GC Control that helped with the cravings and withdrawal. Yeah, I was using the GC Control as well before I went carnivore, and it was a pretty good product to help with curbing food cravings. Um, and the company that makes it, Melaleuca, they're really good. One of the formulas I was talking about the other night that I use for treating fungal infections that works better than anything I've gotten from the doctor. I use a combination of a hand cream that they make called Renew, and I mix that about 1/3 of the hand cream with 2/3 of Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Just mix it up really good, let it sit for a few hours, and it turns to a really thick paste. and works amazingly well. Wish you could come up for Christmas. We can't go anywhere as we aren't able to get winter tires right now to go over the pass. Yeah, I don't think it's in the cards this Christmas, but we are shooting for next Christmas. Yeah, we've got some financial things that we're dealing with at the moment. I don't want to get into details on it, but let's just say we're cleaning up a bunch of debt load that we need to deal with before we can do much more. And I'm definitely planning on. Oh, I mean, and Lisa and I did talk about it coming up this Christmas, but I think it's going to have to be a plan for next Christmas. But maybe next summer, come up for a bit. Barlene says, "I'm thanking you, sir. Okay, I'm thanking you, sir. Thank you so much, and all your family. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your life with us. I did low carb, made my own cauliflower, broccoli, or cabbage or fried rice, or cabbage fried rice. Yeah, and I mean, the keto diet is pretty good. The thing that I noticed, though, I mean, it helped my weight loss, and I did feel a fair bit better on it. But my autoimmune stuff didn't start going away until I went full carnivore. And there's just something about eliminating all that other stuff and just having the primary ingredient that your body craves to get better. So take a look at a couple other quick articles here. Like I said, I'll link these down in the description. So we've got stress affects all systems of the body, including musculoskeletal, respiratory, cardiovascular, endocrine, gastrointestinal, nervous, and reproductive system. Yeah, and I certainly experienced some of that with the stress response I had in the last couple of months. Tried keto, but I got sick doing it. Yeah, see that's some people have that response with keto because if they're sensitive to some of the particular foods that tend to be popular with people doing keto, they're still going to have some issues. But some of the people that have been absolutely the sickest and like autoimmune disease issues that make mine pale by comparison. Oh, what's her name? Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter. Um, she tried different forms of keto and even carnivore. Oh, sorry, even carnivore itself. It's not good enough to solve her autoimmune issues. She has to do the lion diet, which is a subset of carnivore, where she eats only beef. That's it. She goes off of beef, she starts getting sick again. And some people can't tolerate beef, but do really well on like goat or deer or wild meat. So I think probably somebody that's having an issue with store-bought meat might do better on like grass-fed and grass-finished meat. And getting from a farmer is definitely the way to go if you can swing that. And there's so much money to be saved by going and buying a half an animal and butchering it yourself. But there's some intermediate things that you can do instead of that. So if you go to a butcher and you say, "Look, I'd like to get the next time you have a big order come in, I'd like to get some primals." And so what you're looking at is the whole untrimmed primal cut. So you get like a whole roast, like a whole strip loin roast or a whole rib roast untrimmed, and then you can cut up your own steaks. Saves a ton of money. They're not doing the work and you're not having to pay the extra for it. So it's definitely a really good option to ask for the primals. And a lot of times, you can get free fat trimmings and stuff from them, and then you can take that and render your own lard or tallow, depending on whether it's beef or pork. I've actually got a video on my channel showing you how to make your own very pure lard, but you use the exact same process for tallow. And we canned it up in sealer jars and That will last literally for decades without going rancid or spoiling, as long as the seal remains intact or you keep it in the fridge. Ah, yes. I hear you on that one. I mean, I love, or used to love, hot, spicy food. As much as you love your spicy food, I think you were a little amazed at how hot I could handle my food. But unfortunately, it turns out that spicy food triggers my arthritis. So if I have any type of a hot spice, which most hot spices are nightshades, except for the pepper plant, the actual peppercorns that you grind. Just about any other kind of hot spice is nightshade, and if I eat any of that, I'm in major pain within an hour, and it lasts, 3 or 4 days. Unfortunately, I can't do it anymore. But it's just kind of the way things go, by the time we get sick enough to need to go on carnivore, there's usually a whole laundry list of foods that we can't eat anymore. I do best on beef and eggs, butter and bacon, and my husband likes sausage. He just started 3 weeks ago and never thought he could do it either. And he's lost almost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what this diet can do for people. There are, hundreds of thousands of us in the carnivore community that have been reversing all kinds of chronic disease and autoimmune disease. Weird ones too, like even things like Hodgkin's and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia. Damage isn't too bad when they start. A lot of times they can come out of it by going straight carnivore. They've actually made some really strong links between sugar and dementia and Alzheimer's. Indian food. I make great chicken thighs with ghee and some Indian spices. Well, these days, when I cook my chicken, I actually spatchcock them. And then I've done some experimenting with cooking them hot and fast and low and slow. But when you do it low and slow, they come out amazing, and they cook so evenly, or so much more evenly, when you spatchcock them. So for those of you who aren't aware, when you spatchcock a chicken, that's basically you cut the backbone out and then butterfly it out flat. So it cooks a lot more even. Bill Rhonda says keto and ketovore has improved my colitis. Yeah, I used to get the most terrible cramps you could ever imagine. Well, maybe you can imagine them, but most women can actually. But yeah, I mean, I sometimes I'd be 20, 30 minutes curled up on the floor in so much pain I could barely breathe, couldn't move. And when I got off of the gluten, um, about a couple of years ago, I guess now, it did get a fair bit better, but I still got it occasionally. But once I went carnivore, my gut issues just went away. Oh, Kat says, got to get going now. It was nice to pop on for a bit. Kids and I are going to watch TV. Well, thanks for dropping in, Kat. I really appreciate you stopping by for a visit. Hope to see you guys soon. Okay. So, you guys have any requests of other stuff we can talk about? Anybody got any other tips and tricks for saving money on carnivore? I know, one of the best things you can do is find a good butcher that you like and trust and build a relationship with them. And, don't be afraid to do a little bargaining. Maybe you've got something that they might find you handy for and would be willing to trade a little meat for some of your skills. A lot of butchers, especially smaller independent shops, are willing to do that kind of stuff. You'd be surprised what a lot of butchers will do if you just go ask, and farmers too. I know we've got plans come this spring. We're going to be. I'm not sure if we're going to do the whole cow for ourselves. Probably not. We're probably going to split a cow with a friend of ours, and I've got a farmer friend that lives a couple hours from here. And same place we got our pig. So we'll probably go with a cow with them. They've got one of those like meat cutter bandsaws, so you can get it butchered up in a hurry. Well, my wife says trying again to slowly get off sugar and staying away from other carbs 80% of the time. Have a treat once a week. We'll occasionally have salads, staying away from most fruit and veggies except berries. Yeah, and I mean, some people have a more difficult time making the switch over than others. And, because of all the autoimmune disease and the almost immediate results from going on the diet, I had a lot more incentive than many to stick with it. So Rhonda says, buy meat with marked down stickers at supermarket close to expiry date. Yeah, I think that's a trick my wife uses too. And my wife does a lot of things with points. She'll go out and they'll have sales where she'll get points, and then she use those points to get discounts off her next grocery purchase, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of methods out there, and if you can find a small circle of friends in your town that you can go together with and do more bulk purchasing. Find somebody that's got a membership at Costco. They've got some really good deals there, and a bunch of you can go in all at once and just go to town and work together to build your community and save money and help each other learn how to cook meat better. There are some really good techniques you can use to make some amazing dishes. One of the interesting things I found out on Carnivore, I used to use a lot of spices. I was really good with them and had a lot of them and used it a lot. But I found that as I eliminated the spices and kind of got used to not using them, I started tasting more things in the meat than I ever tasted before. So, I use very little. I mean, I use lots of salt, but I'll use a little pepper, occasionally a little bit of ginger because I'm taking ginger daily anyway for my thyroid. So it seems to be helping. How are we doing? Okay. Well, I don't want to go too much longer. I'm gonna wrap it up here fairly soon. So if you guys have any more questions or suggestions or things you'd like to see, let me know. I want to let you know I'm going to be doing a weekly live stream interview series. So every Thursday night at 6 Mountain Standard. So that's GMT -6, at least until daylight savings kicks in. So I've already got some interviews lined up for the next couple of weeks, and most of them are going to be 6 p.m. I've got one. The guy lives in Jakarta, Indonesia, so he's like 13 hours ahead of me. So we're going to be doing that live stream not next Thursday, but the Thursday after at I think 7 in the morning. Just keep a watch out for it. It should go up a day or two ahead of time that it's coming. If you look on my channel under live streams, you'll see that there's already the one scheduled for this coming Thursday. It's a pretty good friend of mine named Roger Carnivius Kaya. So he's had a pretty interesting journey, and he's gotten some really serious benefits from the carnivore diet. So he's going to come on, and we're gonna talk about that and answer questions. Rhonda says Himalayan pink salt gives a nice flavor to meat. Yeah, that's what I use. I've tried a couple of them recently. I had one that I really liked, but it was a little more expensive, and it was coarse grain, so it was good for some things, but not for others. So now I've got one that it comes in like a much larger container, so it's like a gallon-sized jar, and that's only about 40% more than the really small 150-gram packages I was getting before. So the only thing you got to be wary of with Himalayan salt is some of it is fake. They take like regular rock salt and dye it. Well, things to look out for is If the color is too even, if there's really no variation in color, it's probably fake. And if it tastes disgusting, it's definitely fake. So just got to be careful on it when you're buying Himalayan salt. Another really good one is Redmond's Real Salt. I also love the Malden's smoked salt. Actually, I just ordered some more of the Malden's. Got a couple boxes of that coming in. I go through that stuff pretty fast. Wonderful finishing flake salt. Arlene says, I lost 70 pounds on Weight Watchers, then vegan, but got bad foot neuropathy pain and went low carb. I used to watch Dennis Pollock on Beat Diabetes. Can't eat just a little dessert. Yeah, I can relate. I was kind of a donut connoisseur, and yeah, I used to love my pastries and my donuts. But and yeah, I was like that too. I couldn't stop. And yeah, the neuropathy is nasty. It's a side effect of myasthenia gravis, so I had it really, really bad. Carnivore is very slowly, and I mean very slowly, but it is very slowly healing. It's kind of an interesting process. I'll get a spot in my foot that'll suddenly start hurting, and it'll be like that for about a week, and then the pain goes away, and then it reacts pretty much normally after that. It feels normal. So yeah, I remember the first time I felt a cat walk under my feet after being on Carnivore, and I was just shocked. So Arlene says, I use Himalayan salt too. Good night, and thank you. Look forward to watching you. Well, thank you very much. I'm so happy you showed up, and hopefully you'll come and take a look at the coming stream on Thursday. So I'm probably going to be doing like the Thursday interview streams, and then I'm not sure what day I'm going to settle into for streams like this where it's just me and we're talking about stuff. Probably I'm going to wind up doing it on like maybe a Monday, Tuesday maybe. Kind of thinking Monday at this point. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me today, and see you guys on the next stream. Bye for now.